Okay, so where are we on this project? Well, I know it's been a hot minute since I posted an update, and there's a pretty simple explanation for that. The need to get this guitar done started outweighing the video production schedule. Not to mention, I don't like YouTube telling me when I need to update a video and post new content. I do this at my own speed. So, as far as the algorithm goes, whatever. What do we need to do next? Well, I've got this thing all sanded up real nicely. I did all of that off camera because, frankly, nobody's going to watch a 20-minute video of me sanding wood. It's not that interesting. But I've sanded this thing up to 320 grit, and the next thing I want to do is apply a stain to the top and the top of the headstock just to kind of accentuate the wood grain a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this Angelus brown leather dye. I'm going with brown here because I don't want to alter the natural color of the wood drastically. I've done a few test samples on this, and when I apply the finish to it, it does turn pretty brown. You've probably also seen that in some of the previous videos where I've used denatured alcohol to wipe it off. It does turn pretty brown. So it is going to be a brown top. We're going to use the brown leather dye from Angelus. Shout out to Derek over at Big D Guitars for being such an Angelus promoter. So I'm going to go with that product because I know he's used it a lot of times with great success. I know that it works. So we're going to try that on top of this. Then we're going to sand it back and kind of get that wood grain to pop out a little bit more. And then we'll put our finish over that. So the first step is going to be applying the brown leather dye. Now, I'm just going to use these Harbor Freight blue shop towels. I know a lot of people, including Derek, say that you have to use an old cotton t-shirt cut up into pieces because that's the only way to do it. But I've done this on other builds using these blue shop towels. It works just fine. That's what I'm going to stick with. If you feel like telling me that I'm wrong, go ahead and post that in the comments down below. I look forward to reading it. So let's get these blue shop towels, let's get this brown leather dye, and let's start applying it to this top.
When applying the dye, you really want to work it in, but also be aware of applying it in the direction of the grain. You'll see me working it in both directions here to get it worked in real good.
I know. I can hear you now screaming, "Oh my God, what have you done? It's so dark." Well, keep in mind, we're going to sand this all back quite a bit. So really what we're doing here is we're trying to get the leather dye to soak into the softer pieces of the wood grain. So really what we're doing here is we're trying to get the leather dye to soak into the softer pieces of the wood grain. And then when we create that contrast between the harder areas of the wood grain. So, and create that contrast between the grain patterns. The other thing that I've noticed is we've got some scratches on the headstock that I need to kind of sand out a little bit. When you start putting scratches on the headstock that I need to kind of sand out a little bit. So when you start putting the finish on it, you notice all the spots that aren't sanded. We've got this thing stained. We've got a little bit of work to dry for a little while before I come in and sand it all back. So now we're going to let this dry for a little while before I come in and sand it all back. So trust the process.
I'm sanding this back by hand rather than the random orbital sander because I want to really be able to control how far back I'm taking this. Sometimes the power tools get away from you before you really know it. For the finish on this guitar, I'm using Osmo Polyx oil. This is a hard wax oil that can be applied in a single coat or multiple coats. I'm planning on applying 3 coats here, as Osmo does not recommend going beyond that point. Once each coat is allowed to dry for at least 8 hours, I gave it a full day. I denib it with a white Scotch-Brite pad to knock off any fuzz. Then apply the final coat with the white Scotch-Brite pad to really scrub it in. This actually bumps up the sheen a bit and gives it the right amount of satin that I'm looking for here.
And there you have it, all finished. We got our final coat applied. This is going to take 2 or 3 weeks to cure, so we're going to have to just set this aside and leave it alone, let that finish harden up. So if you're new here, please do consider subscribing and hit that notification bell so you know when the next video in this build series goes live. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, maybe share it with your friends. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot.
Voyeur Guitars. Who's watching you?